The LA Dodgers are absolutely terrifying. They go on and they sweep the Cubs over in Tokyo. We're going to break down what the heck just happened and should the MLB be scared of the Dodgers yet again in 2025. Hello and welcome back to Bat for Baseball, the baddest baseball podcast on the internet, presented to you by Betway. I'm Adam Peddle, joined alongside Nicholas Paleolog. We watched some thumping happen over there in Tokyo. The Dodgers, we said it here on Bat for Baseball when we broke down the series preview. We said that they were going to do some damage against the Cubs, and they did. And they did it without Mookie Betts. They did it without Freddie Freeman, and they did it with some shaky performances as well from a couple of their pitchers. We'll break that down as well. But overall, Nick, I mean, hey, Dodgers are going to Dodger, eh?
Dude, I wish I was a Dodgers fan, right? And, like, you know, we knew that we were going to feel this way. And then just, you know, to see it all happen, it's like, just reinforces everything, reminds everybody that the Dodgers are the Dodgers and they are the scariest and best team in baseball by a wide margin. And then on top of that fact, two of their, you know, potential MVP guys weren't even playing for them, and they still dominated what's supposed to be, you know, like another one of the National League elites,
dude,
right? So
people were saying NLCS matchup preview right
exactly,
here.
Right? And I mean, like, no. Well, maybe, but like if that is the case, it's just going to be boring because it's going to be Dodgers all the way. But let's get straight into this one, everybody. Let's get to the box scores of these two games, folks. Dodgers win game one 4-1, and then win game two 6-3. So offense across the board from the Dodgers pretty solid. Honestly, though, the pitching and the defense from the Dodgers is, I think, what's like more impressive to me, because even though you didn't necessarily get the best performances out of Roki, and I think so it was Yamamoto. I think he only went 5 innings, in game one. So I mean, again, both of those guys not necessarily as stretched out as they want to be. And everything like that. You're easing them into it, but still goes to show that bullpen is elite, because then they go on to pitch, you know, several really solid innings there, and then hold those guys to 4 runs total.
Yeah, you got to see out of that bullpen a juicy Kirby Yates for the first time, giving a shutout inning, 2 strikeouts, and then, you know, look at some other guys here, like Trinan's back. He's doing great stuff. Tanner Scott got his first save of the season. That was great to see. Like, the bullpen's phenomenal. But, yeah, I mean, to your point of, like, you know, is Yamamoto, they're not really fully stretched out. That's kind of what it is in my mind. I'm like, I mean, to these guys, it's still spring training, right? They're still getting stretched out.
No, I'm not, like, for anybody that's concerned at all that, you know, Roki only went 3 innings.
What?
No, it's nothing to do with that. I'm not even thinking about that.
Not.
It's just, like, literally still spring training, still first start of the season type thing. You don't want to, like, you don't want to rush these guys into it, and, you know, they did their jobs.
Yeah, they did. Now, the one thing I do want to bring up here, and for me, I think his performance was because of the moment, really more than anything. Roki Sasaki in game 2 only goes 3 innings. He gets 3 strikeouts, but he also walked 5 guys right there, gave up an earned run. Now, I could look at that. You could look at his start too if you actually watch the game at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You could tell that this guy was all over the place. He was just shaky, missing or rolling around the zone. But he does come through in a big moment. He actually had a bases loaded walk, and then that's where the run came from. And then he ended up striking out the next 2 guys.
Yeah.
So, that's obviously a very exciting thing for this guy. But, again, think about Roki Sasaki's perspective. It is your first game in the MLB, but you're playing in Tokyo, in your home country of Japan. That's freaky.
Yeah,
but
you can't even hide from any of your pals, dude.
No.
Like, they're probably in the stands right there. Yeah,
and in the game too.
And in the game, yeah, seriously, right? You got some homies literally across the field from you and playing on your team. So I mean, for me, like, I'm not concerned at all with Roki, and this is something that people need to understand. There's going to be growing pains with the guy. I know that he is the heavily favorited Rookie of the Year candidate over there in the National League. And again, like, he should end up being a very elite MLB player, you know, over the course of his career. But this is still a rookie, right? And most rookies don't end up performing at, you know, the highest caliber that they can, at least to start, right? Even, you know, I know Paul Skeens just happened, so I think everybody's just like, oh, okay, well, you know, some of these rookies come in and dominate. That was an anomaly.
Yeah, Paul Skeens
that was
is
just
an animal.
A fucking anomaly.
You know, Paul Skeens only had 21 starts.
Exactly.
Like, that's crazy. He said he's like, dude, I've barely even played in the MLB.
Yeah.
He said
you
that.
know, so, like, don't use him as the rule. I do expect Roki to be a very good baseball player in his own right. However, I do still expect it to take some time. And there's going to be outings where, you know, some of those walks that he issued, they do come around. This wasn't one of them. Dodgers get the win.
Yeah, I mean, one did come around.
Okay, one of them. Yeah,
one of them did come around. But point being is, like, I mean, the dude was still throwing 100 miles per hour, like, with ease at 23 years old. So, again, I guess you could compare him a little bit to Paul Skeens in that sense, where the dude is, like, throwing gas.
Well, he's got the potential for sure.
He's got the potential. So, you know, that was the Game 2 starter there, Roki Sasaki. And then also in Game 2, there was some contentious things that were happening. You know, you had Shohei Ohtani hit a home run, and when you watched the replay, you saw that, you know, even the announcers were like, it's a double off the wall, Ohtani. Oh, no, now Ohtani's going home, and it's a home run. And everyone's like, wait a minute. I thought this was off top of the wall. If you watch the replay back, you can kind of see the ball. It hits off a fan's hands that's reaching over the wall. Would it hit the wall? Would it be over? I think a lot of people across the internet were thinking probably would hit the wall. But everyone's thinking, but it's probably because it's Shohei Ohtani, and the umpires in New York are thinking, well, let's just give him this one. What a story wouldn't that be? But it does kind of suck that it's like a contentious home run for Ohtani's first.
Yeah. Obviously, everybody would have preferred that, you know, you drilled that thing 500 feet and there was no questions asked type thing. Go over to the hitting side for me for just 1 second. Would that home run have actually mattered? Like, was that a solo bomb?
I think it was a... I'm not sure.
It must have been a solo bomb because he's got only one RBI.
That's true. It would have been a solo bomb.
So it's got to be a solo bomb. So actually, it didn't matter at all in terms of the overall game, in which case, I'm totally cool with it. You know? Like, for me, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Give him his home run. Give him his moment over there in Japan, all that stuff. If it actually was, like, the, you know, game defining moment right there where it's like, okay, this home run was the difference between winning and losing for the Cubs, and it was also, like, very contentious and probably just would have been a double, I'd have more to say about it. But honestly, like, you know what? That's the hometown effect for Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, and it's also the you're the star of our game effect, too. You know, I'm thinking about Aaron Judge was that guy, and they gave him, like, juicy meatballs every time he went up and hit 62 home runs that season. Thinking about Patrick Mahomes over there in the NFL, and they give him a lot of calls. Shohei Ohtani will get the same effect, and I think if anybody, like, kind of denies it, I mean, there's a bright example.
Well,
for
and listen, dude, I do think that you're going to see some serious favoritism towards the LA Dodgers, not just from a media side of things, but, like, if there are golden, quote-unquote, Goldilocks baseballs to give away, it's going to be in Dodgers games, right? And, you know, if there are,
Judge.
like, you know, various other different things, I don't even know, right? Like, maybe they haven't even come out yet, right? Like, little conspiracy theories here. If there's other things that can, you know, benefit them or at the very least make their games more exciting, MLB is going to do that because they know the viewership that they're bringing in. So, I mean, like, these LA Dodgers, them being terrifying, like, yes, it's on the field. It's also off the field with what MLB does. But, I mean, this on-the-field performance without Mookie Betts, without Freddie Freeman, like, it just goes to show how deep that fucking lineup is because, you know, we didn't even talk about him. Will Smith was great, right?
Will Smith was awesome.
You know, like, there was a couple other guys in there that were doing really good. Tommy Edman,
Dude,
you know.
Tommy Edman up in the 2 spot replacing freaking Mookie Betts. You'd think, oh, geez, like, that's a downgrade. Buddy hits a homer.
Yeah.
You know,
you know what I mean? Kike Hernandez with 3 RBIs. Like, this is a deep lineup, and so many of these guys would be batting at the top for any other baseball team, but because it's the LA Dodgers, and when they do get Mookie Betts back, who was just ill, by the way, and Freddie Freeman, who said that, you know, it's not a big deal, he's not concerned about it at all, so both of them should be back probably for the next game the Dodgers play. I mean, I don't know how you compete with this baseball team.
It's going to be tough. I saw an article, too, that was like dividing up the tiers of what teams are. And, you know, normally the top tier is like World Series contenders. You know, like World Series or bust. That's usually the S tier of things. They've made a whole new S tier, and it's literally called the Dodgers.
Yeah,
like, because
it's tier plus.
It's
you know?
tier plus because, like, you have, like, what, the Yankees in that tier of, like, World Series bust, the Phillies, the Braves, you know, some of those teams. And then you've got the Dodgers, which are like, yeah, it's World Series expected, and if you lose, everyone's going to riot. because you're expected to win.
It's not, yeah, like it's not even close, right? I mean, and yes, for them, they are still, I guess, World Series or bust, but it's even more because
so.
like any other World Series or bust team, you compare their roster pound to pound to the Dodgers, and I mean the Dodgers still have various other MVPs that these other teams don't have, right? So yeah, Dodgers are a tier above everybody else. They just went and reminded everybody of that in Tokyo. They're going to continue to do so, especially when they get Mookie Betts back and Freddie Freeman. Before we sign off, let's give a quick shout out to Betway right now, guys. You got some lines for us?
Yeah, I do. So the Dodgers, they got rid of all the regular season win total because the season has begun. But the Dodgers, if you really do believe that it's World Series or bust and then some, well, their odds to win it all is 3.25. So do they win it 1 in 3 times?
Probably.
They probably do.
Like you think about the there is good teams in the National League. There are good teams. It just whenever you think about like the comparing them to to the Dodgers need to lose in the first series, I think.
Yeah.
What is that? Like a 5-game series?
5-game series,
yeah,
NLDS.
They need to lose in the 5-game series because the 7-game series is too much of a sample size for them to lose. They're going to get all their pitchers and then their aces again. It's got to be like, oh, they just get fucking stunned in a 5-game series by, like somebody like the Padres or something.
You know what they need is like, because I'm looking around the NL West. Maybe this will not NL West, but the whole NL. And I'm looking at like teams that could like bounce the Dodgers. Like there's not many teams that could bounce the Dodgers, but in a 5-game series, like maybe the Mets, maybe the Braves could bounce
Honestly,
the Dodgers.
It's got to be
the
somebody
Phillies.
From the East
yeah,
who doesn't win the
East.
division and then ends up against
That's
them,
right.
and then that's gonna have to be the way.
Yeah, like a wild, because they're going to face the wild card team because
Yes.
they're going to be the number 1 team, so they're going to go and face them, and whoever that
Yeah.
is got to be from the East.
That's what
We'll
it would
see.
need to be.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
you guys let us know though in the comments down below. What do you think about this LA Dodgers team? Does anyone else in MLB have a shot? I know we're kind of overreacting after 2 games, but I just think it's like because it's the Dodgers.
We've
like,
seen it before. We know what this is.
Like, I don't actually think it is an overreaction at all, folks. But you guys hit the like button, smash the subscribe button. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. We will catch you in the next one.
Cheers.